Leo Horoscope. Kate meets Uranus from September 13th to November 8, 2025. Opening. A season of urgency and surprise. Hello, dear Leo. Between September 13th and November 8th, 2025, the skies create a fascinating mix of energy for you. The spiritual shadow planet Kate moves into your career house, while Uranus, the planet of disruption and sudden breakthroughs, is already shaking up the very same territory. What does this mean for you? In short, your work, responsibilities, and daily rhythm will feel more urgent, more unpredictable, but also more full of hidden blessings and surprising opportunities. This is not the season of slow and steady routines. It's a period of fast-paced shifts, quick deadlines, unexpected projects, and karmic lessons that show up disguised as last-minute work. If you stay flexible, this is also a time when you can step into new roles, discover hidden strengths, and even achieve breakthroughs in your profession. Let's break it all down in detail, with real lifestyle examples, so you can imagine how these cosmic influences might play out. The role of Kate. From fortune to fast-paced duty. Before September 13th, Kate had been sitting in your house of fortune and gain, blessing you with lucky breaks, survival skills, and the ability to find a way out of tough situations. You may have noticed that earlier in the year, even when things were tight, fortune often arrived at the last minute to help you through. But now, from September 13th onward, Kate shifts into your career house, the 10th house. This is where the energy gets more urgent. Suddenly, your work life speeds up. Assignments may come with tight deadlines, bosses may push harder, or you may feel pressure to prove yourself. The tasks that arrive could be unusual, connected to technology, foreign cultures, or even traditional, Thai-style cultural activities, work that feels slightly outside your comfort zone. Illustrative example, imagine a Leo working in an office. Suddenly, a colleague falls sick, and the manager asks you to cover a project due in just 3 days. At first, it feels overwhelming. But as you step in, you discover you actually have a natural talent for this type of work. The stress pushes you to grow. That's the flavor of Kate. Sudden responsibility that awakens hidden ability, social connections, and compassion. Kate's influence also touches your friends, social circle, and family connections. During this period, you may find yourself more involved in group activities, charity events, volunteer projects, religious ceremonies, or social causes. This could feel karmic, like being pulled towards service without planning it. At the same time, you may become softer in your heart. You could feel more generous toward friends or family, but there is also a caution here. Be careful with lending money. Kate can make you compassionate, but it can also create situations where people lean on you too much. Example, a Leo woman may find that her old school friend suddenly reconnects, asking for help with a community fundraiser. She feels compelled to join in, and though it takes up her time, she ends up meeting new allies and expanding her network in ways that later benefit her career. The power of Uranus. Sudden shifts in work now. Let's add Uranus into the mix. Uranus is a planet that represents sudden change, revolution, and innovation. In your career house, Uranus can feel like an earthquake, shaking up your job, your daily rhythm, or even the structure of your company. How it might show up: organizational changes. A sudden restructuring at work could alter your role or responsibilities. System changes. New software, digital tools, or processes may be introduced, forcing you to adapt quickly. Career pivot. Some Leos might even change industries altogether, especially if you're drawn toward technology, creative innovation, or freelance independence. Example, think of a Leo software engineer who has worked with the same platform for years. Suddenly, the company announces a complete shift to AI-driven systems. At first, it's chaos, but by diving in and learning the new tools, she positions herself as a leader in the transition, gaining recognition and setting herself up for future promotions. This is the gift of Uranus. At first, the shock feels destabilizing, but it often hides a breakthrough opportunity. The blending of Kate and Uranus. When Kate and Uranus meet in your career house, the effect is like fire meeting lightning. Urgency combines with surprise. You may feel like your daily life is constantly interrupted by sudden tasks, last-minute duties, or unexpected travel. New work projects may appear overnight. Workload may swing up and down. Some weeks may bring overwhelming activity. Others may feel strangely quiet. Assignments may push you into untested territory. At first, you may resist, but later you realize they expanded your skill set. Hidden blessings through extra work. What looks like a burden could secretly be a karmic gift, leading to new contacts, recognition, or even financial reward. Story example, a Leo working in event planning might suddenly be asked to coordinate a foreign cultural festival. The task arrives with almost no preparation time. She's stressed, but the event turns out to be a hit. Not only does she receive praise, but she also makes valuable international connections that open doors to future business. Career, work rhythm, and public recognition during this period. Expect your career identity to be shaken. For some Leos, this could mean unexpected recognition, being called on stage, handed new authority, or asked to represent your company. For others, it could feel like being pushed into work that isn't glamorous but still demands attention. Examples, a Leo teacher might suddenly be asked to teach a new subject. A Leo entrepreneur may receive an urgent bulk order that forces them to expand operations quickly. A Leo freelancer might face sudden swings in demand. One week no clients, the next week an avalanche. All of this requires flexibility. But remember, this is also a time when the universe is testing your ability to rise to the occasion. The human side, family, friends, and travel work is the main focus, but these planetary movements also spill into your personal life. You may spend more time with friends, reconnect with old allies, or even cross paths with an ex-lover unexpectedly. Short trips may arise more often, especially for work or errands. Matters of housing and vehicles could surface. You may research new apartments, think about moving, or invest in car repairs. Example, imagine a Leo man who keeps delaying the decision to replace his car. Suddenly, a breakdown forces him to shop for a new one. At first, it feels like a financial burden, but the new vehicle ends up making his daily commute easier and safer. A blessing in disguise. Financial dimension with both Kate and Uranus active, finances can be unsteady. Money may flow out suddenly for repairs, loans to friends, or urgent family needs. But money may also flow in unexpectedly, through extra work, surprise bonuses, or karmic rewards. Example, a Leo may spend money helping a sibling launch a small shop. Weeks later, that sibling lands a big client and shares part of the profit. What first looked like an expense turns into unexpected gain. Spiritual lessons at a deeper level. Kate always carries a spiritual undertone. This transit reminds you of karmic responsibility. Sometimes the universe gives you sudden work not as punishment, but as a way to help you evolve. You may learn compassion through lending a hand. You may learn humility through doing work outside your comfort zone. You may learn faith by trusting that last-minute chaos carries hidden purpose. In short, this is a period where your spiritual growth is disguised as daily tasks. Practical guidance for Leo 1. Stay flexible. Don't cling too tightly to rigid plans. Expect surprises. 2. Don't overpromise. With urgent tasks, it's easy to say yes too quickly. Pace yourself. 3. Guard your finances. Be generous, but careful about lending money. 4. Embrace technology. If new systems or tools appear, learn them. They can boost your career. 5. See work as spiritual practice. Even chaotic projects carry karmic lessons. Closing. Lightning in the workplace. So Leo, what does this season really mean? From September 13th to November 8th, your career house becomes a stage of urgency, surprise, and karmic tests. Kate brings the sudden assignments. Uranus brings the disruptive change. Together, they push you to grow, adapt, and discover strength you didn't know you had. Yes, there may be stress. Yes, the workload may feel unpredictable. But hidden inside the storm are opportunities for recognition, financial blessing, and deeper wisdom. Remember, as a Leo, you are the zodiac's natural leader, Bold, radiant, and resilient. When lightning strikes your workplace, you don't hide. You stand tall, adapt, and shine brighter than ever.